Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to English News coming to you from DJAZAIR and One TV. I'm your host Zahida Belhadi. To the headlines. The President of the Republic returns to his homeland after participating in the work of the 78th regular session of the United Nations General Assembly. Developments in the crisis in Niger and Mali rise the talk between Attaf and the high-level American diplomatic delegation. Badri, the Algerian tongue, will be free to master English. Attaf participates in the meeting of representatives of the 5 countries that will join the Security Council. Lounes Megraman, which empowers the work of the 10th session of the Algerian-French political constellations, which his French counterpart Annie-Marie Descartes. Attaf confirms Algerians' commitments to the principle of the African solutions to Africa's problem. The new president of the Algerian Football Federation, Walid Saadi. The Prime Minister receives Mr. Khaled Moussa Shahada Al-Menfit, Minister of Jordan Hashemite Agriculture. The Prime Minister receives the Ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania to Algeria. Welcome to details. First of all, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, returned to his homeland after participating in the work of the 78th regular session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. The President of the Republic was received at Houari Boumediene International Airport by Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdelrahman, Chief of the Staff of the People's National Army General Said Chingriha, and Director of the Office of the Presidency of the Republic Mohammed Nadir Al-Arbawi. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Committee Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, received a high-level American diplomatic delegation led by Deputy Secretary of the State, Victoria Nuland. The American delegation also included Assistant Secretary of the State of the Middle Eastern Affairs, Barbara Leaf, Assistant Secretary of the State of the International Organization, Michel Sesson, and Assistant Secretary of the State for African Affairs, Catherine. A statement by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and National Committee Abroad states that on the sidelines of his participation in the work of the ministerial segment of the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly. The talks between the two sides focused on a number of issues and the agenda of the General Assembly at its current session, especially developments in the crisis in Niger and the prospects for strengthening diplomatic efforts in light of the peaceful solution initiative presented by President Abdelmajid Tebboune. The developments in the crisis in Mali and ways to initiate efforts to calm the situation and enable the Malian parties to resume implementation for the peace and reconciliation agreement emerging from the Algerian bath were also discussed. On the other hand, Minister Ahmed Attaf had bilateral talks with the Assistant Secretary of the State for Middle East Affairs, Barbara Leaf, devoted to reviewing the latest developments in the crisis in Libya and confirming the two countries' support for the efforts for UN envoy Abdullah Bathily. The Minister of the Higher Education and Scientific Research, Kamal Badri, announced on Algerian television last Friday the developments in the university admission 2023-2024, which today signs its start from Galma province. Minister of the Higher Education said there are a new specialization that are in line with the recruitment of the time related to artificial intelligence and modern physics, that there is nanotechnology as well as robotic. In addition to specialization that are consistent with the region, saying there are specialization prepared by training teams that related to tracks present in various university institutions. Regarding teaching English, Badri said that it will be taught in some specialization as work will be done to circulate it in the future in order to liberate the Algerian language and the Algerian component until they master English as well as master with foreign languages. Regarding distance education, the Ministry of the Higher Education relieved the open of the 6 schools for distance training, noted regarding recruitment that during the month of October 1,409 assistant professors, Department B and Medical Science will be employed along with the employment of 693 research professors in various research centers. Regarding the developments in the university admission, the minister said that some university facilities will remain open until 10 p.m. to meet the needs for the community this year. The higher education and scientific research sector received 40,000 teaching seats in addition to more than 20,000 beds, as the minister announced, saying the development the slogan in order to study in Algeria to attract the largest possibility number of the foreign students wishing to study in Algeria. Regarding the reform, the Minister of the Higher Education said, we will evaluate the LMD system as it exists and we will make the necessary improvements to it. Last Friday in New York, Minister of the Foreign Affairs Ahmed Attaf participated in the ministerial meeting of the representative of the 5 countries that will enjoy the UN Security Council starting next January 1st. According to a foreign ministry statement, it's Council Algeria to Republic to Korea, Slovenia, Sierra Leone, and Guyana, which are the countries elected by the United Nations General Assembly last June to hold no payment set in the Security Council during the period 2024-2025. This meeting between the foreign ministers for the 5 countries was devoted to discussing topics related to preparing for membership in the Security Council and ways to coordination and cooperation with the rest of the countries that there are non-permanent members of the Council. This is in order to provide an actual contribution that distance the UN body from the logic of politicization and hasten in pivotal role to the context of the challenges posed at the current stage in the international peace and security. Lunas Megraman, Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad, cheered in Paris the work of the 10th session of the Algerian-French Political Consultation, jointly with the French counterpart Annie-Marie Dicard, Secretary General of the Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs. According to the Foreign Ministry statement, this session allowed the 2 parties to conduct a phase assessment in the preparation for the upcoming bilateral meeting with the focus on the proprietary files in the field of the bilateral cooperation. The same source also explained that the talks are focused on the current regional and international issues of the common interest. The Ministry of the Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, participated on Sunday in New York in a ministerial meeting of the African Union Peace and Security Council on the topic of ensuring permanence and stability funding for the peace support operation of the continental organizations. A statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the National Community Abroad stated that the Algerian was invited to attend this meeting by virtue of the upcoming accession of the United Nations Security Council as one of the 3 African members of the same council. The holding of this ministerial meeting falls within the efforts made by the African counterpart collectively to issue a resolution from the United Nations Security Council allowing the financing and the peace support operation that are active under the umbrella of the continental organization based in the United Nations Update.
Mr. Chair and dear brother, thank you very much for giving me the floor and for the generous feelings that you have expressed towards me. I wish, first of all, to particularly acknowledge and highly appreciate the invitation extended to my country to participate in this meeting as one of the incoming African members of the UN Security Council. Frankly speaking, and on a selfish note, this is very beneficial to us as we prepare to take up the responsibility to serve Africa and to honor the mandate we have kindly received from our continental organization, the African Union. We pledge to rise to the level of trust that has been bestowed upon us. In this regard, let me reaffirm before you the strong commitment made by President Abdelmajid Tebboune himself that Algeria will spare no effort to strengthen the African voice within the Council and to faithfully reflect the views, concerns, and aspirations of our continent in this major UN body. We will be more than honored to do that, building on the genuine efforts and remarkable progress achieved by our dear sisters and brothers from Ghana, Gabon, and Mozambique, the current African members of the Council who have so ably championed our common causes. Our collective voice of wisdom and commitment is indeed badly needed in this critical and challenging global context to help bridge increasing divisions and overcome mounting polarization that heavily and negatively impact on the Council's effectiveness in addressing peace and security threats. In doing so, Algeria will remain deeply committed to the principle of African solutions to Africa's problems, which reflects the essence of today's debate on the financing of AU-led peace support operations. For us, the importance of this issue cannot be overemphasized. It has three major merits, which all confer a strategic dimension to our collective endeavor in seeking access to UN-assessed contributions to fund peace efforts in Africa. Firstly, it secures continental appropriation and ownership of the instruments and tools designed to address Africa's peace and security challenges. Secondly, it provides the right alternative to the current UN peace model, which has reached the limits of what it can or cannot do. Thirdly, it demonstrates Africa's commitment and willingness to make its own contribution and to bring its fair share to the collective security system as provided for in the United Nations Charter. We are truly encouraged by the progress made so far in spearheading the African common position on this issue, and we highly value the work done by both the African Union Commission and the A3 to pave the way for the adoption of the long-pending Security Council resolution aimed at ensuring adequate, predictable, and sustainable funding of AU peace support operations. We believe that Africa has every right to have access to the UN-assessed contributions to fund its peace operations. We also believe that the collective security system will gain more efficiency and more effectiveness by enacting this long-awaited fundamental change. We finally believe that the international community has every interest in this endeavor, as it will ultimately alleviate the increasing pressure on UN peace operations while providing more efficient answers to the complex challenges at hand. I wish our African sisters and brothers in the Security Council every success as they embark on substantive negotiations to move forward this issue. I would like to assure them once again of Algeria's full support to this innovative, creative, and rewarding undertaking. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
The President of the National People's Assembly, Ibrahim Boughali, called in the parliament of the member state of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the President, an emergency clause during the text session of the Inter-Parliamentary Union with the aim of the issuing a resolution condemning and the criminalizing the attack on religion symbols. Boughali's call came during his championships on Monday of the virtual meeting of the heads of the Council of the Member States of the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation, his capacity as related President of the Union of Council of Member States of Organization of Islamic Cooperation. On Monday, the President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, received the new President of the Algerian Football Federation, Walid Sadi, who represents his version of development and advancement of the Algerian football, which the President emphasized, offering him his graduations and encouragement to achieve this goal, according to a statement by the Presidency of the Republic. The Prime Minister received on Sunday at the government's palace Mr. Khaled Moussa Shahada al-Manifat, Minister of Agriculture of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, who is on a working visit to Algeria. The talks constituted an opportunity for the two parties to discuss the reality and prospects of the bilateral relations in the light of the new dynamic that characterize relations between the two countries in various fields, thanks to the directives of the leaders of the two countries, while emphasizing their common will to strengthen the bilateral partnership by enabling investment opportunities, including the agriculture field, active in bilateral cooperation and mechanisms. The meeting took place on the presence of the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mr. Mohammed Abdelhafid Al-Hani. The Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdulrahman received on Monday at the government palace Wadi Oulad Sidi Hiba, the ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania to Algeria, who paid him a farewell visit following the end of the duties in Algeria. The meeting was an opportunity to highlight the fraternal relations between the two countries and the two brotherly people, and the price level reached by bilateral cooperation, thanks to the directives of the leaders of the two countries and the broad exchange of views on the reality and prospects of development, the Algerian-Mauritanian partnership in the various fields, especially through promoting trade and investment exchanges and complement integration projects, which the two parties are working to implement. The U.S. Ambassador to Algeria, Elizabeth Maureen O'Brien, said on Monday during her 2 days visit in the state of Tizi Ouzou that the United States of America is looking for a new investment opportunities in the Algeria in order to enhance bilateral cooperation between the two countries. Speaking to a group on virtual agricultural professional and academic gathered and a Chamber of the Commerce and Industry of the U.S. Development said that the country would like to expand and deepen economic relations with the Algeria, especially in the agriculture sector. She added that there are many opportunities for exchange and partnership in the agriculture field, taking advantage of the opportunity to strengthen the American genetic industry, especially beef genetics. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the news. Thanks for watching.